Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because the first major surprise of 2026 has arrived earlier than anyone expected. And yes, it comes from none other than Wang Yibo, the man who seems to shatter boundaries every single year. Imagine this, a Chinese drama, already celebrated across Asia, now stepping boldly into one of the most discerning television markets in the world, New Zealand. And it's not just any drama. It's The Wind Chaser, the production that reignited conversations about faith, sacrifice, and courage. Today, we're diving into why this global milestone is so meaningful, not just for Yibo, but for fans, for Chinese television, and for storytellers everywhere. Welcome to Star Watch Now. Let's begin. The announcement itself was simple, almost understated. The Wind Chaser, starring Wang Yibo, will premiere in New Zealand in January 2026. Yet behind that plain sentence lies a story of timing, intention, and quiet power. This is not just a scheduling update on a broadcaster's calendar. It is a statement that a Chinese drama, born from a very specific historical context, has traveled far enough and touched enough hearts to be trusted with a New Year slot in a distant country. For fans, the moment feels strangely intimate. They remember when the drama first aired, the late nights spent refreshing episodes, the emotional exhaustion after certain scenes. Now, those same emotions are about to be shared with strangers on the other side of the world. That alone creates a sense of warmth and pride. The choice of early 2026 is also symbolic. A new year often marks new beginnings, new resolutions, new versions of ourselves. For Wang Yibo, this premiere arrives like an early blessing for the year ahead. It suggests that his work, once considered domestic entertainment, has quietly stepped into a wider conversation. What kind of stories deserve to be seen everywhere? Here, The Wind Chaser answers that question simply by existing on a New Zealand screen. New Zealand may not be the largest market in the world, but symbolically it carries a particular weight. It is known for its cinematic landscapes, its strong film culture, and its audiences who are used to high production standards. This is a country that has hosted monumental projects and supported ambitious storytelling. To be welcomed into that space is not accidental. When a Chinese drama appears in such a market, it is a quiet recognition that its themes and performances can stand beside international works without apology. It means the emotions written into the script and lived by the actors have the potential to resonate with people who did not grow up with this history, language, or culture. That is a profound test of storytelling. For many viewers in Asia, the New Zealand broadcast becomes a mirror. It reflects how far Asian television has traveled, not as a curiosity, but as meaningful content with depth and weight. It also nudges open the door for future collaborations, cultural exchanges, and perhaps new co-productions that blend perspectives rather than separate them. In this sense, New Zealand is not just another territory. It is a symbolic bridge between local stories and global understanding, with Wang Yibo walking firmly across it. The Wind Chaser did not arrive fully formed as an international success. It began like many dramas do. Script meetings, casting choices, long days on set, and silent doubts about whether the audience would truly feel what the creators were trying to say. Its rise has been gradual, built episode by episode, review by review, recommendation by recommendation. What sets it apart is the density of its world. This is not a shallow costume piece or a simple romance. It confronts turbulent history, ideological conflict, and moral ambiguity. Characters are not drawn in black and white. They struggle, compromise, regret, and sometimes break. Viewers are invited not just to watch events, but to wrestle with them. As the drama crossed borders into more than 190 countries and regions, it carried with it images of smoky banks, coded exchanges, hidden loyalties, and quiet, heavy glances between people who understand that one wrong move might cost everything. Critics praised its production design and pacing, but many ordinary viewers centered their praise on something simpler. It feels real, even when it is painful. Awards for direction and art design confirmed its technical strength. Yet its true ascent came from hearts rather than trophies. It became international not because someone labeled it so, but because audiences, one by one, decided it mattered. Among the many voices reacting to the drama, one stands out. A New Zealander living in China who chose to write not as a critic, but as a deeply moved viewer. Their words traveled online, translated and shared by fans who recognized the sincerity behind them. They wrote of shock at Shin Jinjin's fate, of disbelief that such a capable, luminous woman could be taken away so abruptly. They spoke of the ache of watching a character grow, change and sacrifice, only to confront the brutality of war and betrayal. They admitted to shouting at the screen, to pausing episodes just to breathe. What makes this perspective powerful is not just nationality. It is the proof that someone who did not grow up with Chinese revolutionary tales could feel the story as intensely as domestic audiences did. Cultural distance did not dilute the emotion. If anything, it sharpened it. This single reaction almost becomes a symbol of the show's reach. It shows that when writing is honest and performances are sincere, the barriers of language and geography begin to crumble. One person's grief for Shinjinjin or admiration for Wei Ruolai can be shared by countless others, regardless of passport or mother tongue. Wang Yibo's presence in The Wind Chaser is not an isolated achievement. It is the product of a long, sometimes uncomfortable evolution. He has often been surrounded by noise, accusations of being just a traffic star, debates about his acting, endless commentary on his choices. Yet what becomes clear, project after project, is that he is quietly using each role as a stepping stone rather than a destination. In this drama, he does not shout for attention. There is a restraint in his performance, a willingness to let silence carry meaning. His character is not a flawless hero, but a man forced to think quickly, to carry responsibility and to live with the knowledge that his decisions affect lives beyond his own. The way Yibo holds that weight on screen suggests an internal shift, from performer to storyteller. The New Zealand premiere recognizes that shift. It implies that his work is no longer just popular. It is compelling enough to cross markets, to be read and reread by audiences who know nothing about his idol background. For his fans, this is both vindication and encouragement. A reminder that growth is sometimes quiet, sometimes misunderstood, but always visible to those who watch carefully over time. When a drama travels abroad, it does more than fill a time slot. It opens doors that were not even visible before. With The Wind Chaser arriving in New Zealand, entirely new angles of influence appear, some cultural, some educational, some deeply personal. Film and media students may begin to analyze its structure, how it builds tension, how it frames loyalty, how it uses financial systems as a battlefield. Historians may question how fiction engages with real events and what it chooses to highlight or soften. Families might discover that their usual Western viewing habits expand naturally to include Asian stories, not as exotic content, but as serious, thoughtful narratives. There is also the quieter possibility of personal connection. A young viewer in Wellington could stumble upon the drama late at night and, without fully understanding why, find themselves attached to a character who fights for something larger than themselves. That emotional thread can change how they see foreign cultures, from distant and abstract to human and familiar. For Chinese creators, this moment signals that their work is no longer confined to domestic expectations. It encourages bolder scripts, richer character arcs, and more collaborations. The horizon widens. The conversation deepens.